don't think I read that many things that are not safe for... No, there are definitely a couple I can think of. Okay. Alright, everybody. Today I'm doing the not safe for work tag, the NSFW tag. So let's just get started. What is the last book you would want your parents to walk in on you reading? Well, I do live not with my parents anymore and don't really think they'd care what I'm reading. They never really have. So I'll go back actually to a moment that did once happen. I was about 11, maybe 11 or 12 years old. And I literally run out of books to read. I'd read everything I owned on my shelves. And so I went into our attic because I knew there were boxes of books there. And I dug around until I found something that looked maybe interesting. And I grabbed this book that was called Ellis Island. And pitched itself as basically historical fiction novels, turn of the 20th century, immigrants coming in through Ellis Island, obviously. And I was like, cool, I'll read that. I like historical fiction. There was a lot of explicit sex in that book and like masturbation and wet dreams. And I remember being like 11 and 12 going like, maybe like, oh shit, I do not want my parents to know I'm reading this because I'd assumed they'd read it and they knew what was in it. Granted, between the two of them, it might have been my mom who'd read it, but I think I told her years later, I was like, yes, I read this, and she didn't really remember it, so I guess I would have been in the clear. It's storming outside and you're home alone for the night. Sounds ideal, TBH. What book would only make matters worse? This doesn't sound very not safe for work, more like terrifying. Honestly, probably something like The Exorcist. I think because I was raised Roman Catholic, I have a deep fear and respect for demonic, and the thought of the paranormal, the supernatural, kind of the other side, if you will, and all of that. So oddly enough, movies like that are ones that I seek out, I think just because I like to torture myself. But like reading that on a stormy night, yeah, it would probably fuck me up a little. Have you ever read a book simply because of the controversy surrounding it? This is just a yes or no answer. I mean, yes, I have. I'm assuming they want me to actually name a book. I remember reading Go Ask Alice because I'd heard it was pretty controversial. I can't remember how I came to it, but I just remember reading it and I'd heard that it was very controversial. It was like, oh, you're reading that. It's almost sort of like reading a banned book in a way, I guess. But yeah, I remember reading that. I had to be about maybe 13 years old when I read it. What is the most cringe-inducing romance or sex scene you've ever read? Oh my god, the list is endless. So let's go down the list. Actually, it's pretty easy. It's basically everything in Sarah J. Maas. So specifically looking at you, ACOTAR, and Throne of Glass, but really specifically a lot of ACOTAR. Court of Frost and Starlight really takes the cake for that one. That was so cringeworthy. And then Outlander. I cringed so hard. What is the name of that book? A Discovery of Witches, that's what it's called. Ooh, yeah, that's cringe-inducing. That's very cringe-inducing. I think we can all agree the Twilight scene was pretty cringe-inducing. Let's all agree that was like, oh, please don't ever make me read shit like that again. Ever. What book has made you question the author's sanity? I'm assuming this is meant to be in a negative way, because I've questioned author's sanity kind of as like a positive say, like, are you crazy? You can't be doing that. And oftentimes I mean that in a good way, because I'm like, holy hell, you're doing the thing, and I'm amazed. Questioned an author's sanity? I suppose I've been boggled by things like, well, I suppose you could just look at my popular books I don't like. I questioned most of the author's sanities in that one because I didn't like those books and I was like, how could you be doing this? I don't understand. But I suppose for at least things that I either quasi-enjoy or by this point hate read, I could look, really Throne of Glass actually. Let's just do it, Throne of Glass. From Heir of Fire onward, I think I was just like, what is happening? What the fuck? What is this? So what's this? This video is turning into me just ragging on Sarah J. Maas a lot. Sorry, not sorry. Have you ever put down a book and not finished it because the content was too much for you? No. I have paused reading when things are particularly emotional or something. I usually tend to read through them. I might pause because it's just like overwhelming feeling. I only ever had one book where I seriously almost considered putting it down because I was getting so viscerally angry with it. But it was so short, I finished it, and that is On Chesil Beach by Ian McEwan. Don't think I've ever done a review here on this channel, but I know I wrote one on Goodreads, and I was livid with that book. I really despised it from the moment, real quickly after I started reading it. And I almost considered putting it down because I was just so angry at it. But again, it is only about 120 pages, so I did finish it. What fictional character do you have the most not safe for work thoughts about? I don't really. I really don't think of characters in that way. Pretty much ever. No. Sadly, I got no secrets to give out. I'm just, nope. Not interested in thinking about characters that way. Show us your most not safe for work book cover or a photo/picture inside of a book. Oh shit. I really don't think I own any not safe for work book covers. Most of mine are all pretty safe. Damn, even the ones on my Kindle. Like, I do not own anything that's really a not safe for work cover. Probably because I'm really picky about covers if I buy a book. I'm trying to think of my other bookcase that's out in my living room. No. Again, this is kind of a boring answer because I don't have one. I'm boring, I'm sorry. Have you ever read something from the erotica/romance genre, and what did you think? Does the ACOTAR series count? Because those are smutty fucking books. The closest I've gotten is probably some new adult, and the only new adult I've read is a couple books by Colleen Hoover, and of the ones I've read by Colleen Hoover, I really like Maybe Someday. I think her best book. Y'all can fight me on it. And I've read some of their others, and they're very hit or miss, and they're all totally problematic. Like, yes, I know, they are problematic as hell. You don't need to tell me. That is the closest I've ever read to something that is erotica or romance, is like things in new adult, and basically Sarah J. Maas, because she writes smut. Don't even at me. It's absolutely smut, and we all know it, okay? We all know it. But in general, I've probably said it a couple times here on the channel, romance and erotica novels, like, that genre has no interest for me. I have friends who read them, like, read the, like, really trashy romances, kind of for fun, but I get no joy out of it. I can't even read it kind of as a joke. It's just like, nope. No, I'd rather not. I'd rather read things I will enjoy. You stumble across a portkey. What fictional world would you not want to be transported into? I don't know, maybe any dystopia I've ever read. I guess of the books that I own. Let's not throw me into the world of the bone season, because Scion London really is a mess, and I don't think I'd survive. I reasonably think I would die. I'm not a clever one of any kind, and if I was, I would also probably die. Like, let's be real, I would not survive that shit. Like, I love those books, but I would die. And that is it. That is the Not Safe for Work book tag. That is a bit of a mouthful. Oh, and that's what she said. Thanks for watching me ramble today. If you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and click that button with my face on it. It'll take you to my channel, where I ramble about a whole lot of different things. Got some thoughts of your own? Go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And make sure that if you want to see more ramblings from me, you click that little subscribe button. That's it for me today, you guys, so until next time, cheers.